In a move that took everyone's surprise, Donald Trump plans a campaign event in the deep blue Bronx. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today it is time to talk about the 2024 presidential election because we've been hearing for months that Trump's campaign wanted to do a rally in New York City, and most of us thought, okay, that's not going to happen. It's a waste of time. No one really believes that Trump's going to do a rally in New York City. Well, it turns out those assumptions are incorrect, as Trump's campaign announced yesterday that he was going to do a rally in New York City, but not in Long Island. No. He is going to do a rally in the Bronx, one of the most democratic parts of the city. Yeah. Now, before I continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, let us get into it because I cannot believe that this is real. I just can't believe that Trump's actually doing a rally in New York City. I thought, okay, if he does a rally in New York, it would be in Long Island. It would be in upstate New York somewhere, like Buffalo. Nope. He's doing it in the Bronx, which is unbelievable, but that's what his campaign just announced. Former President Trump has been spending much of his time recently as a criminal defendant in a Manhattan courtroom, will be in a different New York borough next Thursday when he will hold a campaign event in the Bronx. The gathering is scheduled to take place at Crotona Park. His campaign announced in a statement on Friday evening, declaring that Mr. Trump would ease the financial pressure placed on households and reestablish law and order in New York. Yeah, it appears his campaign, despite it being a very Democrat state, especially New York City, this is a very Democrat area, his campaign is going to put time and effort into New York. I cannot believe that this is happening. Now, there could be a bunch of reasons for why he's doing this. I don't think his campaign expects to actually win New York. But there are key races up and down the ballot in the state. For example, the House is going to be won or lost through New York. If Mark Molinaro goes down, if someone like Michael Lawler goes down, Republicans are going to lose the House. And that's why I think the Trump campaign is going to put some time and effort into the state. Plus, you never know. What if the Lee Zeldin effect from 2022 is real? It's not just a one-off occurrence that, yeah, it's going to swing Republican, but it's not going to be within, like, 6 points, like it was in 22. What if there is legitimate trends in the state that might give Republicans a serious shot at winning here in the future? Those are the two reasons that I think the campaign is doing this. Plus, it might make the Biden campaign panic and think to themselves, okay, we got to make sure we don't do absolutely terrible in New York, because if we get embarrassed there, that's not a good look for the campaign. That's not going to end well. It is an unusual location for a Republican presidential campaign event. The area went for President Biden by about 77 points in the 2020 election. And despite a shift in the right in some of New York State's congressional districts and neighborhoods, including the Bronx in recent years, the state as a whole is not considered a general election battleground. But I really think that they're doing this for the down ballot races, like for Michael Lawler. If he wins, yeah, he's not the best congressman, but if you would much rather have him win, because therefore Republicans would have the majority. If Republicans win that seat, I just don't see how Democrats win back the House. Plus, you got Mark Molinaro and a couple of bozos in Long Island, but either way, there are some strategic reasons for doing the event. Plus, it just makes sense to strike while the iron is hot. This might be the best opportunity Republicans have had in years to make significant ground in New York. That doesn't mean Trump's going to win it. No one should expect that. But if there are some voters to be won here that could help Republicans up and down the ballot, why not take a risk here? What's the worst that's going to happen? Seriously. What's the negative? The negative of doing this event? Seriously. What? Yeah, it's a campaign event that he could have spent in, say, Pennsylvania, but if he's already in the city, might as well just do a quick event in the Bronx. It makes sense to do one event and see how it goes. But Mr. Trump's aides have been discussing an event in the South Bronx for weeks. The gathering, they said, would not be a traditional rally. The idea has been to make appearances around New York City during Mr. Trump's required attendance at his criminal trial in Manhattan, on charges he falsified business records to cover up a hush money payment to a porn star during the 2016 election. Last month, in his first campaign stop since the start of the trial, Mr. Trump visited a bodega in Harlem, attacking the district attorney prosecuting him and casting himself as tough on crime. And it makes sense. Again, it's not like, he had to travel from Wisconsin to New York to do this event. No, he's already in the city because of the BS trial. So it just makes sense. All right, we're here. Might as well do a quick pit stop in the Bronx, just for example. The former president told donors at a Manhattan fundraiser this week that he was planning something in the South Bronx, making a joke that he might get hurt in the neighborhood. Yeah, that's kind of sad reality, but yeah, it's the Bronx. And not just politically speaking, it is a very dangerous part of the city. So that's why he's making the joke. Obviously, you can argue, well, he also meant the fact that it's D+90. There's a bunch of Democrats there that hate him, maybe. But either way, it's just kind of funny to see Trump realizing that, oh yeah, I'm going to the Bronx. This isn't, Long Island. This is the South Bronx. This is a part of the city that has a lot of problems. We're going to have a tremendous rally. You may never see me again, he said, prompting laughter. That could be a tricky one. Representative Richie Torres, a New York Democrat who represents the South Bronx, wrote on social media that the area had no greater enemy than Donald Trump, casting him as a threat to the social safety net on which Bronx families depend for their survival. Huh? Wait, their social safety net? Hold up, what? So he's attacking him for claiming that, oh, Trump's gonna attack Social Security? Is that what he's saying? Is he talking about the safety of the Bronx? The Bronx is dangerous. How can you say that Trump's the threat to that safety net? If it's Social Security he's talking about, Trump's not going to touch it. He's not, Nikki Haley or Chris Christie. He's not going to touch Social Security. If he's talking about the borough is actually safe, but Trump's causing a lot of problems, that makes even less sense. Because the Bronx is the most dangerous borough, I believe. I think it's highest crime rate. I believe so. It could be second most, but it's not a safe part of the city. The claim that Trump's going to cause a big problem because he's pulling up? No. The problems are because of Democrat policies. But of course they're going to blame Trump because the orange man causes every problem. So yeah, I'm sure Trump being the president 4 years ago caused the crime spike in New York. I'm sure that's not because of the Democrat mayor, the Democrat governor. The Democrats have run everything. I'm sure it's not because of them. I'm sure because Orange Man is bad. Now I know, some of you might be asking yourselves, is this really a good idea to do a rally in the Bronx? I said, it's probably a good idea to do an event here and there, but is it a good idea to do a full-blown rally in the Bronx? This is not just, he stopped in Harlem at the bodega. That's not what this is. This is an official campaign rally. This is where he's going to have a rally, he's going to speak for an hour or so, and that's it. That's going to be what's happening here. Is it a smart move to do that? Instead of doing a rally in, say, Pennsylvania, which is not that far away from New York. Well, let's look at New York City. The Bronx is the second most Democratic borough of the 5. It is. It voted for Biden by 77. Manhattan is the most Democratic. I mean, look at it. Voted for Biden by 84 points. But Trump decided, okay, we're going to do a rally in the Bronx. And not just any part of it. The southern half of it. The southern half of the Bronx is quite possibly the most Democratic part of America. It votes 99% Biden. It is a super Democrat area. And that's because of the demographics of the area. Of course, the Bronx is heavily African American, heavily Hispanic. But the southern half in particular is way more than the north. It makes the north look white in comparison. That's how African American, how Hispanic the southern Bronx really is. And that's where Trump is doing a rally in. And to give you context for how demographically favorable it is for Democrats, just look at the census data. Back in 2020, it was only 14% white. It was 33% African American and 55% Hispanic. And that right there is why Trump decided to do a rally in the Bronx. demographically speaking, these are the voters that Trump is doing way better with compared to 2020. African American voters and Hispanics. The largest share of them are in the Bronx, especially in the southern Bronx. Hell, it's 4% Asian, so there are some Asian voters in this borough. And that's why Trump's campaign realized, all right, we want to do better with these voters. And the Bronx contains the most Hispanics, consists of the most African American voters, percentage-wise. So, let's do a rally in southern Bronx. Now, it doesn't make the most sense on paper. I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea to do a rally here. Just because it is Hispanic, just because it's African American, that doesn't mean you're gonna change that many voters' minds. This area has been Democrat for decades. It is incredibly Democrat. You're not gonna flip that many voters, but even then, if you do 12 points better again, like you did in 2020, let's say, all right, in 2024, you do 12 points better than 2020. Let's just say that occurs. That would mean Biden would be under 80% of the vote in the Bronx, and Trump would be over 20%. That would be damn impressive, because this area has not voted that Republican since the 90s. Since 92. That's the last time a Republican cracked 20% at the presidential level in the Bronx. Which, if that does occur, that's going to help Republicans up and down the ballot. And this, 23-point lead that Biden has in New York, he won it by 23. Just the Bronx shifting 12 points to the right could shrink that margin considerably, especially if Trump's doing better in Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan, especially in Long Island. If he's getting Zeldin margins in Suffolk and hell, even Nassau County, this 23-point victory for Biden would look a lot closer to a 10-point victory, just like most of the polls are showing. A 13-point shift in New York, especially around New York City and, Long Island, would be devastating for Democrats. And that's why they decided, okay, let's try a rally in the Bronx. If we're doing way better here, theoretically, we should be doing a lot better in the other boroughs. This is the one borough that should be the best for Biden. But if he's struggling that much with Hispanics, with African Americans, he could outright collapse in the Bronx and get numbers Democrats haven't seen since the 90s. Hell, maybe even the 80s. Because who knows, maybe something crazy occurs and Trump does 30 points better here. I'm not saying it's going to happen. No one should expect that. But it is possible. If Biden's doing that much worse with African Americans, that much worse with Hispanics, that theoretically he could be in the low 70s, maybe the high 60s. That's like everything goes right for Trump. That might occur. No one should guarantee that. No one should expect that. But it is entirely possible with the demographics of the borough, with how these voters are shifting, and the fact that Trump is putting some effort into this area. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.